Okay, so I'm going to answer this one on sort of a personal level. First off, there are tons of opportunities for being a neuroscientist. Like I said, chiefly being able to improve the human condition, amazing. I've also been given the opportunity to interact with certain populations. So like in my PhD, I studied autism spectrum disorder, and through my presentations on it, my work on it, I've connected with a lot of families who have children who are on the spectrum and individuals who are autistic, and it's been really interesting. I haven't had a lot of these interactions, but suddenly being able to connect with this community in the context of I'm studying this phenomenon and the work that I'm doing can potentially bring this family closer together. It's a really cool thing. So, and also science communication is fun. I really like it. I've gotten a lot of opportunities through my science communication, such as this right here. Challenge is science can be very controversial, unfortunately, and not because of anything that science is really doing nowadays, but partially because of things that science has done in the past, like doing studies on uninformed, non-consenting participants, which is obviously not cool and no longer allowed, but that has sowed distrust in science and a lot of people. Other than that, there are topics that just become very controversial, like autism spectrum disorder, like COVID-19, like vaccines, virology. All these things become very controversial because they become politically charged. And it's very unfortunate because now suddenly when you talk about these things, people become very angry. So when I'm, giving a presentation on autism, and if suddenly I say something about, we're trying to develop a treatment or a cure for autism, which I wouldn't say, but if I did say that, people will sometimes get really angry because, there are some people who believe that that autism doesn't need to be cured and autism is a gift. And then there are other people who believe that, they will do absolutely anything to get a treatment for their child with autism. It's just you have this range of opinion. And it's tough to, I don't want to offend anybody. My intent is just to help people. I want to be as correct and appropriate and harmless with my language as I can be. And sometimes it can be difficult. And also, when I'm on, TikTok, I make a video about the COVID-19 vaccine. People are like sending me death threats because they don't believe that what I'm saying is true, and they think I'm being funded by the Rockefellers and I'm being paid by the government to say this stuff. It's a really wild world that we live in, and being a scientist can come with a lot of challenges with your presentation and your presence in the general, society. So. I think that one of the biggest, most difficult decisions that people face is whether or not to go into academia or industry. Personally, I really love teaching, so it was easy for me. I said I definitely want to go into academia, but the money is enticing. You don't make as much as you probably should as an academic scientist, and in industry you make good money. So it's enticing. That option's always there too. But I think other than that, the other most difficult decision I probably had to make is what academic training to pursue. Do I go to a PhD in biology or biomedical sciences or bioengineering or neuroscience or neuropharmacology? When I was in my PhD, I actually entered an umbrella program where there were all these different PhDs that you could get a PhD in genetics, pharmacology, structural biology, all these different things, biochemistry. And I decided to go with neuroscience because I thought, I want to be a neuroscientist, and I'm glad I did. But that was a tough decision because I could have gone any which way. So choosing the right academic training can be very stressful. But hopefully you can figure it out. Use the resources around you. Ask the professors that you're working with. Ask other students who have, who are a few years ahead of you, who have been in your shoes. Ask your college counselor. Ask anyone. Find a scientist. Email them and say, hey, I need help. Help me. You can email me. I'll do my best to answer. I get a lot of inquiries, but I do my best to help everybody. So I am a postdoc at Stanford University in the track to becoming a professor and research scientist. The typical trajectory that one follows is they begin in undergrad as a college student. After that, they typically do a PhD. You might do a master's degree in between, but you'll definitely need to get a PhD. After a PhD, then do what's called a postdoc. And in this stage of your career, you're working basically as an apprentice to an existing established scientist. regardless of whether it's neuroscience or it's biochemistry or it's pharmacology, whatever field or discipline of science that you go into, that needs to be your absolute passion, because science is difficult. Experiments fail, grants get rejected, papers get rejected, people are rude and bad things happen. You need to be so intrinsically motivated by asking these questions about science and about whatever topic you're studying, that no matter what happens, no matter how much adversity is thrown at you, you're willing to still get up and go into the lab the next day and answer those questions and fight to find those answers through your studies. So you need to be persistent, you need to have a thick skin, and you need to be very passionate. Science as a field, academic science, is like politics in that it's built a certain way and it will probably never change, even though there are parts of it that are broken. That's the way I view it. So I don't think that academic science and the structure of the field will change that much. But as far as the actual research, I believe that we're going to be moving into a field of more like advanced big data stuff. I think that if you can learn, great piece of advice right here, if you can learn like coding skills or like running, advanced computational analyses, bioinformatics stuff, any of that stuff, big data statistics, these skills will all become more and more useful as the field develops. I think these are, you start to see things where like certain labs are doing things and then all of a sudden more labs are doing it and more labs are doing it. And you used to see it in just like the biggest papers. And now you see this technique in like every paper. That's where like bioinformatics is right now, in my opinion. You're starting to see more and more advanced analyses. Instead of just running a paired t-test, now you're running this huge, big, complex analysis and, principal component analysis and all this stuff. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. But basically just, consider that while you're also learning biology, you also want to learn about statistics and you want to learn about coding if you can. If you're given the opportunity, take that class. I hope that I've given a lot of advice throughout this already, but just one more final piece, just talk to people, just go to conferences, meet people, use the resources at your disposal. Go to your university's neuroscience club, go to your professor's office hours, talk to them, ask questions. Ask the questions that you're afraid to ask, because trust me, you're going to want to ask them. I asked those questions and it saved me a lot of time. So just be resourceful.